Howdy folks, Brad Vincent with the Vincent Realty team at Realty Right Texas here today to give you a market update. If you've been following my recent series of videos, I'm trying to give you a monthly market update, mostly related to the changing economic conditions that we're experiencing in our country. Things like the Fed raising interest rates, gas prices, inflation, consumer price index, you name it. So I actually made a video for last month, but I didn't get around to posting it because I was too busy. So I'm going to try to catch up on June and this month in this video. So what we've seen to this point is the start of the year. Fed announced they're going to start raising interest rates. We've got supply chain shortages. We've had massive inflation, gas prices going up, gas prices kind of coming back down, et cetera, et cetera. You know, everybody predicting the financial doom of the housing market and all these things. So what we're doing is we're watching it. As I've stated all along, as I stated in the beginning video, and as I'm saying going forward, interest rates are only one factor in what is going to affect the housing market. What we really need to see in order to see prices come down is increased inventory. And this month, we got last month's data. We got June of 22's data, and that may be telling us that we're starting to see that. And the big number I want to start with is home sales are down 8% year over year, and that's not a huge number, right? Because again, we've seen massive increases over the last few years. What is interesting is inventory has gone up from year over year, from June of last year to June of this year. We had 1.4 months worth of inventory. We now have 2 months worth of inventory. That's 0.6 increase. That's actually a pretty large increase. Now, if it weren't for the fact that we were already in historic lows, that number would actually be a historic low. So we're still very low, but that is a big increase. Pending sales are going down, and we're starting to see prices go down. What happens is when I go show houses, I get notifications as to what's going on with each of the houses that I show. And what happens is after a week, if the house is still on the market and there's a price reduction, I get a notification saying, hey, this price has come down 10 grand or this, that, or the other. Well, over the last 30 days, I'm getting a lot more of those notifications, okay? Used to be I'd show a house and I'd guarantee if I walked out of that house, it'd be sold by the weekend. Now I'm starting to see those houses linger, okay? What we saw, charting kind of the path we've been on, is the first increase in rates was 50 basis points, and we ended up with an average 30-year that last year went from about 2.99% for a 30-year conventional to 4.25%. Then this most recent increase got us up all the way to 6.25%, but the demand of the market kind of leveled it down. It hovered at around 5.75% for a 30-year conventional, and then now we're seeing today 5.375% is the average for a 30-year conventional loan right now, okay? That rate is not high enough to destroy this market, but it is high enough to slow it down a bit, okay? So if we see another increase and we start really leveling out in the sixes, I think this is really going to affect the market. We're going to start seeing inventory come up. There's a decent chance that we're already in a recession. We just don't know because, you know, a recession is 2 years of negative two quarters of negative GDP growth. Well, we don't have that next quarter's data yet, but we know we've shrunk once. We're in a really weird place. We're in a really weird place where large parts of the economy are really bad, but the job market itself is actually really good. Unemployment is very low. So we have a crazy inflation. The CPI came out today. It was 9.1, which is like, I read is like one of the highest numbers ever. Prices of goods are just going up and up and up and up. So we're going to start seeing how this affects the market. So I think today might be the first mark that we've really seen something affect the housing market. We're going to start seeing more houses linger. I've been very blessed, and my clients have been very blessed. I've been talking to my clients throughout the year and advising them on where to sell. My last 2 houses sold. I think I sold right before the big shift. I've got a listing right now that's under contract that I think we may have gotten our offer and accepted it, like literally standing on the edge of the cliff as to what's happening with this market. So if you are looking to buy or sell, every single person's situation is unique to them, okay? It's unique to the situation you're in. It's unique to the factors in your life, okay? You need to contact me because I'm going to advise you differently based on if you're buying or selling, based on your time frame, based on if you can wait, if not. I've got buyers right now that I've been actively looking with that they don't like the prices of this market, and I keep telling them, wait, because it'll come down. And I've been showing them for 60 days now, and in that 60 days, we've seen the average price of the homes they're looking at go down about 10%. So I'm advising most people to wait and see what happens here. Now, the counterbalance to that is, though, rates are going up, right? So you need to pay attention to how that affects you. So everybody's timing's different. What you're doing, how you're acquiring your money, if you're buying cash versus with a loan, etc. We're in very treacherous territory where you really have to know what's going on. You got to know your finances. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know your job security. There's a chance that the way all this shakes out is we just have a really small cool off on the market and then it just goes back to normal. We might not see that crash that we're all kind of feeling because of increased rates and because of all the market conditions, okay? So we need to talk through your very specific situation to tell you where to go. Another thing I'm noticing, and this is something that if you're in this category, you definitely are going to have a path. I'm seeing people who are in forbearance on their mortgages, people who are behind on their mortgages that the bank is letting them make, either lowered payments or is letting them miss payments. I'm seeing those people start to get letters saying their homes are going to be auctioned off. Okay. So if you're in forbearance right now, or you've missed one payment or two payments or three payments or however many payments, you need to be paying attention and you want to be ahead of the curve on getting that bank letter. Okay. If you know your finances aren't going to get right and you're not going to be able to just start making this payment and get right with your bank, you need to start planning for what your future is, because you do not want to get one of those letters. Once that letter comes out, your back is against the wall and you do not have very many options. And the option you're going to end up having to take is either A, the bank's just going to take your house and your equity, or B, you're going to have to sell fast and low to somebody just to get out and make something, okay? So if you know you're behind on your payments, or you're looking at your finances and you're like, man, I don't know how to make my payments for the next 6 months on various things, you need to get ahead of that. You need to make a plan for that. That doesn't mean you sell today, but this is a situation you need to be monitoring. And let's just say a good thing shakes out and you fix your problems and you just stay in the house. That's great. But you need to be looking at where you're at. So if you know you're in kind of a sketchy situation where you're at, your bills are going up too high, you can't afford where you're living, don't lose the equity in your house. I just got contacted last month by somebody who has $100,000 in equity in their house, and the bank has taken that house and they have no recourse to take it back, okay? So right now, inventory's peaking up slowly, okay? We're finally seeing a legitimate, trackable increase in inventory. Next month, we're going to have another conversation about this. I'm hoping to have more data and be able to tell you more. But if this trend continues, we're going to see a significant cool down in the market. Lumber prices are actually going down as well with all that's happening. So something that could counterbalance all this is if some of these supply chain issues get fixed and the lumber price and material prices go down, we might see a weird balancing act where the builders can start building again. So that's something we got to look at as well to see how that's going to affect the market. But right now, the trajectory is we're going to see a steady decrease in the market. We're going to see an increase in inventory, decrease in prices. Buyers are going to get a little bit better negotiating leverage. They're going to have a chance to actually walk into a house and look at it and stop and talk for a second instead of having to go straight to the bidding war and the fist fight. So, we'll just continue to monitor it. I'm continually still working with my clients. I'm still putting listings up. You don't stop. Life doesn't stop because of this stuff, but you got to navigate this and you got to know how to navigate it. So if you're interested in this market as a buyer, seller, renter, contact me. Let's talk about your very unique situation. Let's talk about how to navigate these waters. Your timing is gonna dictate a lot of it, because if you can afford to be patient, it's almost always best to be patient, especially on the buying side right now. As a seller, I'm going to ask you what your plan is for the next 5 years. And then if your next 5-year plan is to move, I'm going to tell you to sell today, because it's better to get out of it today. Because once this trajectory goes downward, we've been in a very long upward slope. The odds are we're going to be in a long downward slope. It might not be a sharp one, but we're probably going to be stuck in a downward trend for a while once this thing really kicks off. So odds are I'm going to say, hey, today's going to be the top dollar you're going to get in this 5-year window that you're in, okay? Brad Vincent with the Vincent Realty team at Realty Right Texas. Cell phone number is 281-770-1099. You can email me at vincentrealtyteam@gmail.com. And you can message me on whichever social media platform you're seeing this on. Hope you have a great day.